Hello,
Howdy.
everybody.
Yes, dear, we're going to break down and we're going to talk a little bit about the summer convention. Look, if you friends want to be bored with all of this nonsense, go watch a whole convention for yourself because it's that boring. But what this knucklehead has to say, it's a little bit interesting.
Thank you, Bonnie. She
Yes.
just wants to see us work.
Yes.
So thank you, Bonnie, for letting us know about this Splane's talk on Sunday afternoon convention.
Yes, so we're going to play a clip right here and listen to the Freudian slip.
Now, speaking of broadcasting, do you think Jehovah has been preparing us for something like this pandemic? Think about this. A few years ago, the decision was made to set up something called JW Broadcasting. And at the time, who knew how practical an arrangement that was going to turn out to be? And who knows what uses JWB will be put to in the future? Jehovah knows. Jehovah looks ahead. Sometimes we don't know ourselves why certain decisions are made or why we are making certain decisions. But Jehovah knows. Jehovah is our greatest joy.
Now, didn't we say back in 2014 when they started JW Broadcasting that they were eventually going to go to an online religion like the 700 Club?
Remember what I told my mother? See? Really? An online religion? Here it is, guys. This is no big surprise. It really shouldn't be any big surprise to anybody in the ex-Jehovah Witness community, because this is what Kim and I have been saying for years now. Their business model has failed as far as a publishing company. Anybody could have recognized that a long, long time ago when your mainstream newspapers were feeling the pinch. That's all these guys are. Nothing but a bunch of dumbass news reporters. Well, they're not really new. Well, yeah, they are news. They're reporting news for Jehovah.
Fake news.
Fake news. But did you catch the Freudian slip? Did you catch it? He says sometimes we don't know what the decisions are. Well, I mean, Jehovah, did you catch it? Let's play it again and listen real close.
Sometimes we don't know ourselves why certain decisions are made or why we are making certain decisions. But Jehovah knows.
See? Look at the expression on his face. It was a Freudian slip. He had to backtrack. That's because Pennsylvania is in charge, not these guys.
And Jehovah has been preparing them, and they didn't even know it?
Right. We all saw what was happening. That's how dumb they want you Jehovah's Witnesses to be. Oh, there's going to be more coming in this little talk he's got, because he really plays the child later on.
Jehovah has the right to expect that we'll love him even more than we love our husband, our wife, our son or daughter, or our parents. He also has the right to expect that we'll love him more than we love our job, a favorite hobby, or maybe a sport that we're passionate about. Jehovah has to come first. Has your desire to put Jehovah first been tested during this pandemic? You lost your job, and you searched desperately for another one. Finally, after a long search, you found one. But it was a job that would require you to miss all your meetings and opportunities for field service. What a temptation to take that job. You've been out of work for months. You felt helpless because a family member is supposed to provide for his family. It would take a lot of faith for you to refuse that job, pray to Jehovah, and then wait. Hold on a little longer to see what Jehovah would work out for you.
Wow.
There again, this isn't anything new.
Consider the theme What must be kept in second place? Family ties.
To the book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 37. Notice Jesus' direction. Very pointed. He said, "Whoever has greater affection for father or mother than for me is not worthy of me. And whoever has greater affection for son or daughter than for me is not worthy of me." So isn't that clear direction as to what place that our relatives should have in our life, brothers and sisters? We love our relatives, but to a lesser degree than we love our God, Jehovah.
See, this is why Kim and I don't want to sit down and really watch all this stuff, because it's nothing new. We've heard this for 42 years of our lives. Put Jehovah first. I mean, how many brothers have lost their jobs or quit their jobs because their employer wouldn't let them have Friday off to go to the convention? Oh, you brothers were great in giving up your job because you're relying on Jehovah. That was all fine and dandy back when there were jobs to be had. This day and age, those jobs are not as easily to be had. If you take this guy's advice, you're going to hurt your family. Listen to what he said. You've been out of work for months and months and months. And you've been searching, and you finally find a job. But that job's going to interfere with the meetings. What's he tell you to do? Rely on Jehovah and wait a few more months. This is what I hear, guys. I hear a failed business model. Think about this. Think outside the box for just a minute. Put all of that religious nonsense in the closet, shut the door and lock it, and don't return to it. Look at it from a business perspective. I've said on this channel 100 times, a successful business model needs cash flow. When that Jehovah Witness, male or female, finally gets a job, even if it interferes with the meetings, what's the likelihood that they're going to be making a guilt offering? What's the likelihood? See, we haven't been able to donate to the Kingdom Hall for months and months and months because, poor Mikey's been out of work. So what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to take care of a few necessities. Then some cash is going to flow to Watchtower. It doesn't matter whether they've got a donation button on jw.org, because that donation button doesn't support the Kingdom Hall Trust Fund. If you guys remember, we've done videos, we've read elders' letters, and we've showed this community, and hopefully we're showing you Jehovah's Witnesses, that Kingdom Hall Trust Fund is set up to pay the bills for your Kingdom Halls. And if all of a sudden JW men and women get jobs and they start making guilt offerings, that cash flow goes right to the Kingdom Hall Trust Fund, and guess what? They can't collapse a portion of their empire. They can't just kind of swoop in and take the Kingdom Halls because now you're paying the bills. Watchtower does not want those Kingdom Halls to be in place that much longer. And that's why Jehovah has been setting up JW Broadcast.
Well, this reminds me of two things, like you said about the Kingdom Hall and swooping in. But also what it made me think of are these elders and circuit overseers and ministerial servants. They're basically saying you need to put Jehovah in the organization first, above your family. And boy, if that isn't going to cause a lot of marital and family problems, because, well, look at when he was regular pioneering and a ministerial servant. The congregation came first.
Exactly.
It was very difficult. I mean, we almost split up over that. So how many more Jehovah Witness marriages are going to be failing because, the wife is going to be like, you love the congregation and Jehovah more than you do me. I mean, it's just a natural reaction. But yet, in your marriage vows, you're supposed to be a 3-chord that can't be easily broken. So, you're supposed to be partners and love your mate no matter what. And now you're being told that you have
Right.
to love Jehovah and the organization more. Because we know Jehovah's Witnesses put Jehovah and the organization as one. So when you say Jehovah, you're talking about the organization also.
And that's a very good point, Kim, because what this guy is advocating is the breaking up of the family. Because think about your marriage vows, for better or worse, and you're going to take this monkey's ass advice and not take a job to fill the necessities of life, especially this day and age when jobs are hard to come by for a lot of people. Don't take this guy's advice, because I'll tell you what, Jehovah is not going to provide for you. He didn't provide for me so that I could keep pioneering. He didn't. In fact, the service overseer said, well, Mike, maybe you should come off the list because you're not getting your hours. There wasn't any encouragement. Well, what can the congregation do, to help you? Nothing.
Yeah. And
Nothing.
because the congregation and his pioneering and Jehovah came first, guess what? It was very difficult. We had no money to even make our car payment. So
Insurance.
we had to get rid of our vehicle and get a little small older one, insurance and all of this. So, this is very bad advice.
Yeah, and that smaller vehicle we got was not very conducive to the pioneer work.
Yeah.
I couldn't take 6 people in my vehicle. Now it could only be me and a passenger, maybe 2 people in the back seat. That was it. Bad advice.
Now, going back to the selling of kingdom halls, you want to hear the latest of what elders are telling the JWs who are starting to notice all their kingdom halls are being sold? Oh, you guys are going to love this one. The latest thing now, it has nothing to do with third world countries. Now, it's for security reasons, the society, the organization is trying to bunch witnesses together in a closer knit congregation. So instead of being spread out all over and only 20 or 30 here, they want you together in a more central kingdom hall. And so all these kingdom halls are being sold.
Which validates what I said. They don't want cash flow going to every kingdom hall. Maybe 1, maybe 2 main kingdom halls, and that's going to be it. Because as Splane is explaining, it's Jehovah's purpose to get all the Jehovah's Witnesses up on JW broadcast so that they can become a full-blown online parroting the 700 Club Christian broadcast station.
See, and the thing they're overlooking is you can get a free screen recorder and you can record your Zoom meetings so that you can go to work and watch it later.
So that right there shows you how stupid this man and the rest of the governing body is, that they're not thinking far enough ahead to say, you know what, brothers? You know what? You need to take that job. You need the support. Because after all, the Bible does say that a man that does not know how to support his family is worse than a man without faith. So a man that has true faith and can outthink these monkeys' asses right here and say, you know what? Hey, honey, I have to go to work. Would you please make sure that you record the meeting so that I can watch it later? Hey, after all, it doesn't matter whether Jehovah feeds me on Sunday morning or Monday morning. It doesn't matter when Jehovah feeds me as long as Jehovah's feeding me. But it shows you how illogical these men are. And unfortunately for you PMOs that have family members that are still fully indoctrinated, they're going to sit there and say, oh, what a loving talk from Jehovah. See, Jehovah really does care for us.
While it's damaging the family.
While it's hurting the family. They're just too damn blind to see how, once again, they're being snowballed. That's why I can't do this crap. That's why I can't sit and watch these JW broadcasts, these assembly parts, because I readily acknowledge and readily identify what the control mechanism is. It's to make Jehovah's Witnesses stupid and people that cannot think for themselves. Really, this guy is advocating the breaking up of your families, Jehovah's Witnesses. Figure it out. It's not that hard. You need to be smarter than these guys at the helm.
Yeah. Love Jehovah more than your family.
He's
Wow.
advocating the breaking up of your families, Jehovah's Witnesses. Do you really want that? But no, you know what? It's going to happen anyways. It's going to happen because it has always happened. I can't tell you how many times I sat in a district convention when they're talking about, brothers and sisters getting divorced. I turned to Kim one time, I says, you know what? Jehovah's Witnesses, the divorce rate among those Jehovah's Witnesses is as high, if not greater, than those in the world.
Well, look at all the young couples that got married that year we did, 1979. As far as we know, there's only one couple out of probably a dozen that are still together.
Exactly.
And even ones that were married before and after that, I can't even think of any that are still together.
But see, the whole problem is these Jehovah's Witnesses, they're just awestruck by what they see here, right here. They see the little skits, the little plays they put on, but they don't listen to what they're saying. That's why they still sit in front of that Zoom camera saying, oh, what a blessing from Jehovah.
Do you think you can handle another clip?
Probably.
As you know, many scholars believe that Jehovah's name means he causes to become. Jehovah can become whatever he needs to become, and he can make you become whatever he needs you to be. Now, in the days of Israel, what did Jehovah need? Often he needed prophets. Where did he get them? From ordinary people. He took a very shy young man named Jeremiah and turned him into a bold and courageous prophet, and he did the same with a farmer named Amos. Don't tell Jehovah what you can and can't do. You might be surprised about what you can do if you just put yourself in Jehovah's hands. How many in this audience once said, I could never preach from door to door. I could never pioneer. I could never be a missionary. I could never serve where the need is great. Well, Jehovah knew better.
You want to say something here first?
No, I think I'm speechless.
What Jehovah's Witnesses have got to realize is that the only reason they got you to finally go from door to door is because they keep prodding you. They use the death mechanism. Well, if you don't get out and preach, Jehovah is going to ask that blood back at your hands, so you better get out and preach. No, it's a control mechanism, and there again, it violates free will, doesn't it? I mean, in all of Christianity, correct me if I'm wrong, but do not all Christians believe we were created with free will?
Yeah?
That's a factoid. But now see, if I don't believe in your Jesus, I'm going to burn in hell. If I don't believe in your version of Jehovah when he causes to become wait a minute. Correct me if I'm wrong, but on a JW broadcast, didn't Mr. Potato Head said that we really don't know how to pronounce God's name? We only went with what was popular?
Another reason often given by translators for not using God's name in the text of their translations is that they don't know the exact pronunciation of the original name. Some scholars feel that the original pronunciation was closer to Yahweh rather than Jehovah. Others feel that it may have been Jehovah. Just how important is the exact pronunciation of the original Hebrew name? Could we get sidetracked by trying to determine what that pronunciation was? Well, first of all, let's establish why we use the pronunciation Jehovah in English. Is it because it's the closest pronunciation to the original? No. We use the name Jehovah because it's widely recognized in English. Is this a reasonable position to take? Yes.
Some brothers get all upset over some detail they don't think the organization has the right take on. It might be the pronunciation of God's name, or the meaning of that name, or the meaning of a single verse in the scriptures. They get all upset, they get obsessed over one detail, and it interferes with their worship.
Well, okay, I can invent God's name, Rama-Lama Ding Dong. That means that he climbs a tree like a monkey does. That's all they've done here, Jehovah's Witnesses. They invented a name, and now what does that invented name mean? Oh, he causes to become. And they sell it. And they've been selling it since the King James Version.
Well, if you listen to this entire talk he does, there were a lot of things, and I was talking to, some friends about this, and it's like, where is that in the Bible? Because they're adding into this narrative, and they don't have a clue of what really happened back then.
No.
And it's not in the Bible.
And as much hate that the Jehovah's Witnesses have thrown against the Catholic Church since its inception, why would they, in any logical realm, any universe, why would they use the name invented by a Catholic monk? They hate the Catholics, and yet they use their name, Jehovah, because it's popular? Jehovah's Witnesses, something is terribly, terribly wrong.
Well, I did a video several months ago reading from the 1950 Watchtower, and it was an open letter to the Catholic Monsignor, and it says, well, if Jehovah's Witnesses have shallow scholarship, it's because we got it from the Catholic Church. So they admitted they got this divine name and that shallow scholarship from the Catholic Church.
Do you Jehovah's Witnesses, I mean, honestly, are you really watching this stuff for the entertainment value? Do you really think you're being spiritually fed with this crap? Do you really believe that? Do you really walk away from watching this stuff and saying, oh, I just ooze Holy Spirit? Or are you sitting there thinking, thank God that's over, I'm going to go crack a beer? This Jehovah's Witnesses, one of your leaders, Rutherford, said it best.
But the newspapers refuse to publish anything about the kingdom for fear of shocking the religious susceptibilities of the Roman Catholic hierarchy and their allies. Such publication would interfere with the religious racket. For centuries, both Christians and religionists have prayed as Jesus taught for the coming of God's kingdom on earth. But only the Christians have desired that kingdom. The religionists, and particularly the hierarchy, have an ambitious desire to rule the world in the place instead of God and Christ. Religion is therefore a snare and a racket.
Religion is a snare and a racket. It's a racket. That's why you're looking around and seeing your kingdom halls being sold. And how is it a racket? They got you to donate your money to buy the property. They got you to donate your money to buy the building supplies. They got you to donate your free labor to build that kingdom hall. And then when it's all said and done, hey, you're invited. We're going to dedicate this kingdom hall to Jehovah. And then a few years later, what are they doing? They're selling it out from underneath you. And are they reimbursing you for the money you put out to buy the property?
No.
Are they reimbursing you for the money you put out to buy the building materials? Did they reimburse you for your labor? No, because it's a racket. It's an outright racket what these guys have done to all of us.
Well, look at what they're doing now. You get the privilege of watching Zoom meetings and online conventions, but still donate.
Yeah.
Still go to jw.org and donate. So, we're going to take a break and calm Mikey down and play another clip.
Ezekiel 38, beginning with verse 4. Now this is Jehovah talking to that coalition of nations known collectively as Gog. And I want you to pay particular attention to the first part of the verse. That's verse 4. Jehovah says to Gog, I will turn you around and put hooks in your jaws and bring you out with all your army. Now think about that. I will turn you around. It sounds like Gog was headed in the opposite direction. But then Jehovah turns him around and he draws him out to attack. So what does that tell you? The timing of the attack is Jehovah's. Now that doesn't mean that Gog of Magog had no intention of attacking God's people. He was planning to attack at some point. But it's the timing of the attack that's Jehovah's.
Do you want me to start, sweetie, or do you want to?
Well, I was just going to say that ex-JW Elder's wife, Jane Doe, just did a video about this just a week or so ago. And it was excellent because of the point she was bringing out. And you heard what he just said. This is Jehovah's timing. This is Jehovah's doing.
I have a challenge for you Jehovah's Witnesses. I have a challenge. Go to ex-elder's wife, Jane Doe. Click on her channel and find the video she did regarding Gog of Magog. Gog of Magog is right in the title. You will see exactly what Splane is doing here. He is cherry picking because he's leading you to believe that he's going to put the hooks in Gog of Magog's mouth and attack Christendom, attack Babylon the Great, attack the government. Go back, Jehovah's Witnesses, and read that damn Bible. Read what he's got right here. You will see what Jehovah did when he turned Gog of Magog around. He used Gog of Magog around to attack his own chosen people. Why? So that the nations will know that I am Jehovah. He's cherry picking this portion of the Bible and he's misleading you. He's telling you a half truth and lie. If you think I'm lying, then take my challenge, go watch her video, and go read that damn book for itself. Because it's Jehovah that uses Gog of Magog to attack his own people. If he did it back then, what makes you so darn sure he's not going to do it now? Because this guy has got something else coming up that is very, very disturbing. And when we get to that part, I'm going to show you why I think Yahweh, Jehovah, is going to turn himself against your own organization.
There's another thing. What precedes the attack of Gog of Magog? What did we read in the Pure Worship book? The destruction of Babylon the Great. Now, have you ever considered how that destruction is going to fortify your faith? It's going to strengthen you so that you're able to endure the attack of Gog of Magog? Think about it this way. What other religious organization foretells the destruction of a world empire of false religion? We're the only ones, because the others are all part of Babylon the Great. They're not going to foretell the destruction in the future. So the destruction is going to be a surprise to everyone but Jehovah's Witnesses.
Did you notice there was a little bit of a slip up there? We're the only ones foretell the future?
Well, Babylon the Great.
So doesn't that make them false prophets if they're foretelling the future? Or fortune tellers?
That makes them fortune tellers. That makes them prophets, doesn't it? See, Jehovah's Witnesses won't put something like this in the complete public view. That's why us ex-Jehovah's Witnesses grab this stuff, Splane, and then we use it, and we take it before, I don't know, say Russia, and say, see, Jehovah's Witnesses are extremists. Listen to this extremist view right here. Because, see, they're saying that they're the ones foretelling the destruction of the Russian Orthodox Church. They're the ones foretelling the destruction of the Baptists. They're the ones foretelling the destruction. All of them. How is this not an extremist view? Jehovah's Witnesses. But see, you won't look at it that way because you don't think that you're part of Babylon the Great. But you are. You are very much part of Babylon the Great. The only problem is that you're not reading the book of Revelation with any type of insight at all. Why? Because you've all been convinced that you need a faithful and discreet slave to teach you what the Bible says. See, they become your mediator. They think that you're too stupid to read the book of Revelation where it talks about where Babylon will become a dwelling place of unclean spirits. They will become the dwelling place of demons. But yet, if you go back and really listen to some of the content on this channel and what a lot of other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have put out there, you will see that those demons are in your own organization. There's a demon that advocates the child abuse problem that you're suffering from. There's a demon that directs the hands of some of your artists by putting phallics in your artwork. Those are unclean expressions that are only supposed to be with Babylon the Great, you know, the world empire, false religion. But it's in your own religion. The problem you Jehovah's Witnesses have is you choose to be ignorant in a world that is full of knowledge now. The choice is yours, but I guarantee you one thing, this guy in your governing body are choosing not for you to see the scriptures in Revelation that talk about the unclean spirits dwelling in Babylon, because they're in your own organization.
So are you ready for the disturbing part, which is my favorite part because I was laughing?
This is going to be epic.
Here's the clip.
Are you looking forward to conducting a Bible study with an unbelieving relative who returns? Or maybe with some historical figure? You know, this weekend we learned that even faithful men of old were going to have to adapt to a different way of life and learn how to worship Jehovah in a way that will be acceptable to him then. No, Abraham, that child does not need to be circumcised. David, you're not a king anymore. If you want a glass of water, you have to get up and get it yourself. Samuel, I know you're grateful to be resurrected, but we don't offer animal sacrifices anymore. So please, put that knife down and leave that bull alone.
Splane! Splane, you've got it all wrong! Samuel wasn't looking to sacrifice the bull. He was just looking for some tasty Rocky Mountain oysters.
Wow.
Do you see how childish this becomes for you Jehovah's Witnesses?
The lunacy.
Really? You couldn't have thought of anything better than, David, go and get your own glass of water. How about something, I mean, if you really want to make this paradise earth and the resurrection real, You should have said, David, go make it right with Uriah. And that child that I killed because of that unholy adultery, you let Bathsheba and Uriah raise that child. You couldn't have thought of something to make it more real than go get a stinking glass of water? How about something like, David, look, you can't have all those wives now. You just can't do it.
Well,
one wife, one husband.
Well, they're not going to do that kind of stuff because then that is actually telling the truth.
That's telling the truth.
And reveals too much.
Yeah. Abraham, now look, that whole circumcision thing, I was wrong. Because if I was of the right mind, I would have instructed Gabriel when he was blessing Ishmael after I told you to send Ishmael out to the desert with a little bit of food, a little bit of water. You know, I know, I was expecting, no, excuse me, Abraham, you was expecting Ishmael to die in the desert. But see, if I was of my right mind, I would have instructed Gabriel to make sure that Ishmael would have been circumcised also. My bad. You Jehovah's Witnesses just don't get it. Because what you fail to see in all of this, Jehovah's going to be looking down and say, now why did you, as my faithful and discreet slave, hide child abuse for decades? How is it as my faithful and discreet slave, Jeffrey Jackson lied when he was in front? I don't want to hear this theocratic warfare. I didn't put those words in your mouth, Splane. I didn't put those words in your mouth, Tony Morris. I didn't do that. It's because I was never with this religion. That's what Jehovah is going to say if this paradise earth is going to be real.
Get away from me, you workers of lawlessness.
That's exactly what Jehovah is going to be saying. Then he's going to say, wait a minute, what do you mean you went from door to door preaching the good news of the kingdom, telling your members if you don't preach you're going to be blood guilty? Why didn't you put faith in the ransom sacrifice of my son? I forgave all those things. Why did you come back and bind these people up with burdens? Why are you putting out a talk that's going to divide families? Why did you have I never put in a shunning policy. I never told you guys anything about a shunning policy. But yet, you burden men down. You ain't getting in that narrow door. In fact, that door's already closed and locked. So take your little dream world and go push it somewhere else. That's what Jehovah's going to be saying.
Well, it depends on if you're talking about Jehovah, their God, or the source of all.
Well, there you again. There's a huge difference because, you know, at least, well, wait a minute. I got one even better. He's going to be looking down at the governing body and say, you guys said what? You went with a name that was invented by a Catholic priest? And then you just went with it because it was popular? Oh, wait a minute. I guess I never really did reveal my name to anybody, did I? Jehovah's Witnesses, you have got to wake up and see that this organization is burdening you down with nothing more than what is a tradition of men. That whole Bible is nothing but a tradition of men. It's not from the source of life.
Now, if any of you go and watch this talk from Sunday afternoon's 2020 convention, right after he says this, within a few minutes, he's going to show another video. And it's two young women, two young JWs, you know, they're in paradise and they're walking towards this little grassy meadow. And thank God they didn't do, you know, the military coming with the guns and all of that nonsense again in this one. But they're going to study with someone who's dressed like Little Bo Peep. I mean, she's got the, you know, the umbrella, like from Victorian days.
Thank you. Thank you for not showing that to me.
I knew he wouldn't be able to handle that. But they're going to study with, Jane Austen or, someone from that time period. And, I remember a Watchtower article years ago when we were still JWs. And I've been looking for that article for years now. So if anybody knows about it, but they did an article and it showed two JW modern day witnesses in paradise studying with a pirate.
Yeah, I remember that picture.
And it was in, pretty sure it was on a Watchtower article. And I remember us talking about
we
it.
even did a video about it.
Was it after we had left?
It was after we had left. Yes, it was.
So it must
I
have been.
remember that.
It must have been on our first channel. But
Yep.
I've been looking for that article to cover that again because it shows them studying with him, and he's looks like a pirate, with the beard and the gold earring and everything. And then it shows another picture where he's all clean shaven. So it's like wow. It goes right along with all of this.
Just as ridiculous as this summer convention, friends, and there again, make no mistake about it, Jehovah's Witnesses, you're going to lose your kingdom halls because the business model that Watchtower operated under as far as the publishing company is done. Because everybody gets their news. If you want to study the Bible, you don't have to pick it up. Go to, Bible Hub or some of the other online Bible places. Check them all out and then search for yourself where the realm of ridiculousness is and the realm of reality begins. It's just that simple. Because the publishing company is done. They have to go to online. They have no other choice. They're going to get rid of most of the kingdom halls, and you're going to become an online religion, because Kim and I are already hearing it, Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm dreading having to go back to the meetings.
Yeah, they're not wanting to go
It's
back.
too comfortable doing this at home. It's, you get your meeting done, you go crack a beer, turn TV on and watch the Green Bay Packers kick the crap out of the, Vikings or the Bears, whatever. Kim and I watched Jehovah's Witnesses in Wisconsin miss meetings when there was a Packers game interrupting the meeting. I've seen it. All Jehovah is doing right now is getting you comfortable with this new direction that Jehovah is going in. They've already spelled it out for you. They're going to be an online religion, and all the while they're going to make billions of dollars selling the abandoned kingdom halls, and they're going to make it easy to abandon because you Jehovah's Witnesses, male or female, are not going to take the job you need to make that guilt offering.
Okay, so I got a couple other things here to cover real quick. There was an elder's letter that came out yesterday, and this is the Jehovah Witness Disaster Relief Committee, and this is an update on the food boxes. This is dated August 25th, 2020. To selected bodies of elders assigned to the COVID-19 Food Distribution Program. Dear brothers, as we move ever closer to the end of this system of things, we know that the structure of this world will continue to crumble. However, it is with confidence that we echo the Apostle Paul's feelings. Who will separate us from the love of the Christ? Will tribulation or distress or persecution or hunger? On the contrary, in all these things we are coming off completely victorious. Well, it's not just you. Everybody's getting these food distribution boxes.
That's exactly right.
To date, your vigilant efforts to assist your brothers and sisters with practical aid has served as visible evidence of Jehovah's love for his people. In addition to the arrangements you have put in place to maintain a healthy spiritual routine for your congregations, see, and this is why they want the elders to put Jehovah and the organization first, because there's too much of this going on, and
right.
they don't have time for family. Jehovah's organization has provided practical physical assistance with a food distribution program. This letter will update you regarding adjustments being made to enhance the effectiveness of each of these arrangements. Food distribution program. The United States Department of Agriculture states that in September their food program will now be providing larger boxes, 30 to 40 pounds each, which will include fresh produce, dairy products, milk, and meat products. This is why the stores are so empty, because they're putting it in this. This is called a combination box. There may also be some areas that will have fresh produce only boxes in addition to the combination box. The perishable contents of the combination box will require more careful and timely handling, which may require adjustments to your current food distribution methods. Well, this is so because the elders are throwing food out that they're getting because they can't get it out fast enough, so they have to throw it out. This adjusted program will now turn its attention towards those with more defined needs. There is no need to survey or poll the publishers. Based on your frequent shepherding visits and the principles found in Proverbs 27:23, you already know those who may be dealing with a disruption in their normal food supply routine. So some examples are, and they go on to talk about those who are having hardships, maybe some who may not have a job.
Well, where is the one that talks about the brother that refuses a job because it interferes with the meetings?
Well, it doesn't say that.
I don't see that on this little list to these elders.
Yeah.
So, do you Jehovah's Witnesses not see the problem here? Good Lord. No, see, just wait a little longer and you're going to get your little magic box of food.
Yes. Well, it's from Jehovah. Even though it says from the federal, agriculture, Department of Agriculture, it's from Jehovah.
It's from Jehovah. No, it's
and everybody else in the world, lining up and getting these food boxes, it's from Jehovah.
It's from the very people that you Jehovah's Witnesses are condemning to death at Armageddon. They're the ones that are doing this, not Jehovah.
Yeah. It is hoped that this additional assistance and direction will increase the use and effectiveness of both of these valuable arrangements. We again express our admiration for all of you are doing. You are the men described at Jeremiah 23:4, shepherds who really shepherd.
Watchtower, if you had clue one how many PMOs are calling us, emailing us, saying we're not getting our shepherding calls, or the PMO whose mate is still fully indoctrinated, they're not getting their shepherding calls. Stop with this BS and let's all get a reality check. Religion is a snare and a racket.
So something else, and I just want to thank everybody who sent me links to all of this. I'm sorry, I didn't name each and every one of you. Yes, someone sent me this link from Amazon.
Is this for real?
Well, it's on Amazon. They're selling flags, little lapel pins of flags. Now, you have to scroll down to the bottom photo, but it shows somebody in a blue plaid suit, and they have a flag here and a jw.org here. So is this a company that is making the jw.org pins also? If so, Watchtower should go after them for copyright infringement. Instead of going after all of the activists for every little, booklet or article they put up or elder's letter, why don't you go after this company because they got the little jw.org pin?
But if I'm looking at this right,
yes, dear.
the advertisement shows the American flag above the jw.org pin.
Yeah.
So what signal does that send out? So Jehovah's Witnesses, are you now Democrats or are you now Republicans? Wait a minute.
Or somewhere in between.
Yeah. I mean, come on, Jehovah's Witnesses. No, because they're just now showing who and what they are. If you guys really pay attention to the news, we see what's going on in the world. We see the looting. We see the destruction. We see people that would rather destroy property than go out and work for it. What is Jehovah's Witnesses saying? Don't go get a job because you might miss a precious meeting, but instead you're going to get free food. Wait a minute.
Maybe sell things on Amazon.
No, I see Jehovah's Witnesses playing into a certain political party. Don't go and work and we'll give you the free food. Whereas the other party says, look, go out and work for what you have. Put in an honest day's wage or work for an honest day's wage and then purchase the things that you need. But no, Watchtower says, don't go to work and we'll give it to you for free. I see where they're going.
Now, I'm going to put the link down below to this. I don't know if this is a JW selling, these. I would say probably not, since it's an American flag. But it's just really strange that, whoever this company is selling these flags would have the jw.org pin. I mean, that is just really bizarre. And especially knowing that little lapel pin and icon is a copyright. It's copyrighted. So if Watchtower goes after everybody else for every little infraction that they think, the activists are infringing on their copyright, why aren't they going to Etsy and eBay and Amazon after all of these people that are selling all this jw.org stuff? The mask with jw.org, or the pins, or the little Caleb and Sophia dolls.
Well, it's like you mentioned in your video, reading that article from that church, from the Catholic Church on Sunday. They come out, they're asking, why doesn't the media focus on the Jehovah's Witnesses as much as they focus on the Catholic Church when there's a child abuse problem? Why? Well, it's self-explanatory for those that can think.
Yeah, I just seen a news report today about a Baptist minister who was raping children.
Ooh.
He was arrested for years of molesting children. But see, if that's a JW elder, you only hear it one time, But this was plastered all over, media and news and everything else. So it is unbalanced. And, we have to keep asking, why is it so unbalanced? What hold does Watchtower have with the journalist?
Well, I've said it on this channel before. There are ministers from other religions in this community wanting you to go to their version of Jesus. They're wanting you to go to their version of who God is. And you can see they suffer the same problems with child abuse. Open your eyes. Pay more than the usual attention as to who in this community is saying what. When you have somebody pushing the King James Version as a real Bible, more than likely they're a Baptist minister. And yet, is he going to come out? Is these people going to come out and say, well, look, yeah, we do have a problem with child abuse?
Well, I was just watching a video the other day while I was eating lunch, and it was someone who was talking about the King James Bible, and they had like an original, they have photos of an original King James, and it has all this fancy scroll work on the inside title page. Well, they were showing that right in the middle of that is a goat-shaped demon, like Baphomet.
Yeah.
The picture of Baphomet, right there above where it says, I forget the exact wording about the King James, the authorized King James. But this was an old Bible. And there it was,
Goat-shaped demon.
Baphomet, right there. If I can find that video, I'll put the picture up while I'm talking about this.
Yeah.
Because, it's like, wow. Wow.
We live in a modern day. Ignorance, friends, is now a choice.
Yeah.
Ignorance is a choice.
Yes. So I know this was a long one, but Splane's talk was we just had to. We just had to. And there's so much more we could have covered that was in his talk. Because, I mean, it was just constant. It was just constant of this cult talk and speech. And, we would be here for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so...
So just a quick recap. The only reason why this organization got any of us to go in the door-to-door work, because they were ultimately playing, if you don't go, Jehovah's going to kill you at Armageddon.
Guilt trip.
Guilt. They guilted each and every single one of us into doing that. Every single one. We were all guilted, because if you don't do it, then Jehovah's going to ask that blood. When Jehovah has to kill that person at Armageddon, he's going to ask that blood back at your hand. That's the only reason why. The only. And make no mistake about that.
Yes. So thank you for watching, everybody, and thank you for all the wonderful comments and emails. We appreciate them. And you have a wonderful week.
Bye.
Bye.